right, so we talk about learning. When is there a time you're not learning? Never. Dead? Sleeping? No. Still learning? You dreaming? Is that really learning? 6 feet under learning? So let's find out. You tell me which definition is right. Okay, it's this one. The acquisition of information or behavior tendency that persists over a relatively long period of time. Does that sound good? No? Sounds wordy. Let's you want to break it down. The acquisition of information. What does that mean? Gaining knowledge, okay? Or behavior tendencies. What's that mean? Things you do that persist over time in a relatively long period of time. What does that mean? Translate that definition. So stuff that you do that you hang over for a long time. Oh, Jesus. So what Jerry said? Stuff that you do over a long period of time. Is that when you learn? Sounds good? Okay, so let's move. So we got the textbook definition. To gain knowledge, this is the dictionary. To gain knowledge or understanding of or skill in by study, instruction, or investigation. Does that sound good? Yep, sounds complete? No. And I'm going to tell you right here, gain knowledge. To gain knowledge means you do what? You learn it. Understand. Do you always understand once you learn? Okay, so the definition we like, the problem in regards to this is what we like. Learning is a relatively permanent change. Relatively means what? It could be, but it might not be. In behavior, the potential, literally saying, I might learn it today, but I might actually not use it till later because it's not till later that I really understand it. Does that make sense? How many of you ever had a breakup in a relationship? Okay, if you haven't, just wait. It's gonna happen. All right, now, how many of you have more than one breakup in a relationship? Okay, so we on two. How many of you have more than two breakups in a relationship? Okay, we on three. We're gonna stop because everybody over three now. The first time you did you learn anything from it? But then you went back the second time and did it again. Did you learn anything from it? So you went back and did it a third time and did it again. So you've done it 3 times because all y'all raise your hand. You've broken up 3 times, right? But guess what? By the fourth and fifth time, you did stuff different. First time you probably did something different. The second time you did something different. The third time you did something different. Fourth time. By the time you do it 6 times, you've got the potential to change a whole lot of other behavior. Probably one, how you respond to the breakup. The first time who you haven't experienced it yet is gonna be one of the emotional. Oh my God, my world, Lord have mercy, is over. By the third time, you like another bus is gonna come every 15 minutes. If I stay here long enough, another one will pass me by. You learn to change the behavior. Does that make sense? So learning literally means you might not use it now, but you'll eventually use it at one point in time, and then you will understand it. Does that make sense? You learned some things in childhood. You did not understand why you did it. You just did it. Then after you got older, you understood why I had to do it. Does that make sense? That's learning. Okay? And no. No, you can learn stuff after one time. Some of you, one time is all it took. Some of you a little hard headed. You got punished for the same thing by your mother 10 times. And you probably still would do it. It's just that you aged out before getting caught again. You thought you learned, and or you learned how to maneuver a little bit better. See, some of us, we didn't learn, we just learned how to get away with it better. You got sneakier. So did you learn something? Sure did. Did you gain something to permanently change? Yes. I learned, did I change my behavior? Yes. Everything you learn is not good. Okay? And you did it because you practice it. Right? Mama goes to sleep at what time? She sleeps here. She sleeps kind of hard. This door is about keeping her locked. She won't know if she can get in here. I need to maneuver this around pretty good. Let me practice for a minute. Let me close the door, see if she heard me. She don't say nothing. I'm practicing it. I'm pretty good now. Take off my shoes when I walk in because I don't want to make sure it clink clink sound when I walk on the floor. I got this. What did you learn how to do? Sneak in after curfew. What do you think people who rob banks? They learn how to rob the bank. They practice. They usually have their little model. They run through the model. They practice. They've experienced it. They master it. So when you learn something, it doesn't mean you learn it right away, but you have the potential to eventually use it. Does that make sense? All right. We didn't even get to the hard part yet. All right. Now we get to the part. Now, in the idea of learning, you had these scientists, and all these scientists decided we all think you learn differently. So you're going to learn today about Pavlov, you're going to learn about Skinner, you're going to learn about Bandura, you're going to learn about Coleman, you're going to learn about somebody else. Somebody else. So you're going to learn all these people, okay, and all their theories. And we're going to start off with classical conditioning, which was Pavlov. Now, these are some examples. Sound of a dentist drill, what does it do to you? Chills on the back. Why do you get the chills? Why? Makes you think of what? The pain. Think to your teeth. So you have been classically conditioned that the sound of the drill reminds you of pain. You don't even have to feel the pain. You just have to hear the sound and you get the feeling. That's classical conditioning. Does that make sense? Yes? Sight of a significant other. What does it make you do? Smile, frown, remembering. Classical, classical conditioning. Now, the idea is they don't even have to be near you. You can hear their name and it gives you a response. You've been classically conditioned. You've linked their name to them. I can remove them. All you need is the name. Make sense? Good so far? Easy, right? Okay, good. Smell of a certain beverage. Let's even go further. Grandma makes this dish. What grandma make? Banana pudding. I don't even have to see grandma. I smell her banana pudding. I think of her. Classically conditioned. Grandma might have passed away 20 years ago. Somebody else makes the recipe. You smell it, think of grandma. That's classically conditioned. No, because she don't have to be dead. She might just move. They've been classically conditioned to, it could be the same, but a little different at times. But yes. Cat come running. My dog, I leave his treats in a container. I grab the container. He comes, runs, and sits. Classically conditioned. Dog sees you grab the leash, runs to the door. Classically conditioned. Classically conditioned. They hear your door close. They pick up clothes. Classically conditioned. You get the look, and you do stuff. Classically conditioned. Make sense? You always transfer. You learn. She learned. She had the potential. Now, nope. That's gonna be operant conditioning. The next one. So hold that, and we'll use it. All right. So let's talk about how Pablo started this whole thing. When he started, he actually started to label the components. You guys have mastered how classical conditioning works, but now you have to label the parts. Okay? There's four parts: unconditioned stimulus, unconditioned response, conditioned stimulus, and conditioned response. Now I'm gonna move this up so that I can write on the board under some of this. This one you'll also see sometimes. You'll also see sometimes it's called UCS and UCR. So you'll see both of them at times. Okay? And we're gonna go through which one means what. Usually with unconditioned stimulus, It's unlearn. An unlearned response, or some people like to just say a reflex. With condition is learn and a learned response. Are we good? Some of them you will be taught, and that's why we use it kind of like a slash, because people always go, "Oh, it wasn't a reflex. I learned to respond like that." So it gets kind of tricky when we say reflex, because if I pinch you and you learn that it hurts, a little bit different. Or if you learn how, um, if I keep throwing something in your face and you learn how to put your hand up and block it, you just learn how to do that. Compared to a baby, they'll just keep letting you, you know, throw it in your face until they realize, oh, yes. That's two different responses, because you might throw it to me and I've learned to catch. So my reflex isn't to move, my reflex is to grab. So it goes back to, I've been taught the reflex is lift hand up. You've been taught reflex is this. Okay, are we good with the component? No? Okay. Oh, geez. That's a long time. Condition to me is learn. Condition response is unlearn. Now, let's talk about Pavlov and how he did this whole thing. He did some dogs. And actually, what he was doing was he was literally measuring digestive systems. He really wasn't trying to experiment on responses. He was just looking at digestive systems. He had the dog hooked up to some machines, and I'll show you the picture in a minute. And what started to happen is his assistants would bring down food on a cart, but on the side of a cart was a bale. So what he started to realize is that he put the food in front of the dogs salivate. But what he started to realize, eventually the dogs just started to hear the bale, and they started to salivate before the food even reached them. They start to associate the food with the bale. So he realized, wow, you can actually associate something and remove the original item and still get a response. Only if I associate it. So let's just try this for a minute. Let's just go with McDonald's. Everybody has seen it, knows what it does, been there. What do you like at McDonald's? Pretty much. There's nothing else. You should like fries. So you get to the line. How'd you learn about these fries? You bought them. You went to the. You were 9 years old. Your mama took you to the McDonald's for the first time, and she bought you a little Happy Meal, and you ate the fries. And you're like, oh, this place sells some really good fries. Okay, you're 12 years old. Back to McDonald's. What'd you make sure you got? Some fries. And you're like, oh, I really like this place. It sells fries. You start to realize this place has what to let me know that this is the fry place. Those golden arches. What does the fries make you do? Some of y'all just got happy and did that about to eat dance. Okay? So, eventually, now I just drive down the street. Didn't even get the fries. All I saw was the what? And I started to do what? Classically conditioned. Make sense? Now let's label it. What's the unlearned part? So what's the unlearned part? What's the part that starts the first original thing? The fries. Give you fries, and you respond by what? I've now replaced the unconditioned stimulus with what? Which is the what? And how am I going to respond to these arches? We're going to do a couple. So I'm going to first tell you the questions you want to ask yourself that will make this a whole lot easier. Question number one. And I always put I, because in a scenario, if you put yourself in it, it makes it a lot easier than if you disconnect and say you don't even know what Sally and Sally's in the example. So when you read the example, just really ask yourself first, how did I respond? How did I respond? Second question you're going to ask yourself, what am I responding to? Third question you want to ask yourself, what did I replace the above question with? And the last thing is, how did I respond to the replacement? Number one is going to give you the unconditioned response. Number two is going to give you the unconditioned stimulus. Number three is going to give you the conditioned stimulus. And four is going to give you the conditioned response. Nope. Unconditioned response. Number two, unconditioned stimulus. Three, conditioned stimulus. Four, conditioned response. Now, I often tell people on the examples, on the questions, you want to do yourself all four questions. Don't just go and literally when it says, what was the conditioned stimulus, don't go and try to find just the conditioned stimulus. It will screw you up every time. Quickly go through the four and do it that way. Okay? So first thing you're going to do, number one, you're going to do what? How did I refine the response? How did I respond? Two, what am I responding to? Three, what did I replace the above question with? And four, how did I respond to the replacement? Got it? Nope. What will happen in a breakup? Let's just use that for instance. If we took the breakup for instance, you broke up because they cheated, and the way you knew they cheated is because they got home late every night. You then realize that getting home late every night represents what? So in the next relationship, if they get home late, you're gonna do what? Respond. So you've just been classically conditioned, and you just carry it over and over and over. You've been classically conditioned. The first person did it to you, so now you're just responding to the stimulus. You replace the stimulus of cheating with whatever the behavior was. So now you have to be desensitized to get over it. So like Derek said, you got trust issues based on being classically conditioned. It's embedded. Some things you do classically conditioned don't even know you did it. So we're gonna do some examples, and you're gonna tell me now how we're gonna do this to make sure everybody does it. Nobody's gonna tell the answer. Everybody's gonna read. Everybody's gonna read, and then you're gonna write down the answer to yourself, and then you're gonna tell me what the answer is. Got it? All right. So let's try this. Let's go over the directions one more time. What's gonna happen? And who goes? Everybody's gonna say no words. It's gonna be silent in the room. And this way I can make sure everybody knows what they're doing. Now, how you're going to find these examples, go to the extra junk folder. Um, you're going to want to practice these before you take this next exam or before you take the quiz. I would suggest practicing. Go to the extra junk, go to I think it might be chapter 5, maybe. Nope. Chapter. This is different than your actual book, so you got to kind of play around with it. So it might be chapter 7. Yep, go to chapter 7. Go to multiple choice quiz, and let's try number 1. So you're going to read number 1, and you're going to answer number 1. So you're going to answer number 1 to yourself, write it down on a sheet of paper. Go through these steps to get number 1's answer. You want to pull this down? And let's go ahead and do 1 and 2. Who needs more time? For what? There's 1 answer for this. There's 1 answer for your assignment that you're doing at home. You should have 4 answers if you label it classic condition. Bless you. Does that make sense? On your example for at home, you have a worksheet you have to do. There's going to be 4 answers if you think it's classic condition, and then we'll talk about operant conditioning in a minute. So there's going to be, you have to label all parts if you identify it as a classical condition. But here you just pick the one. Okay, so let's start with number 1. Now, there's a catch with some of these. Some of them are implied, which means the answers aren't in the question. So, number 1, how does the cat respond? Okay. So he comes running, comes to the kitchen. All right. What is he responding to? What is he replacing the electric can opener with? See, now you just mixed that up. Because what is he originally responding to? And how does he respond to the cat food? Originally, he's responding to the food. That's originally. How is he responding to the food? What does the food make him do? Okay. So now, what has replaced the actual food with? The sound of the can opener. And now, what happens when he comes to the can opener? He comes to the kitchen. But originally, he's responding to the what? Food. If you do a can opener and you just got him, he's a brand new cat, you just took him home and you do a can opener. What's that cat gonna do? It means nothing to him. He didn't get excited till you did what? Gave him some food, and then he started to realize every time you give him food, what do you use? The can opener. Now he's associated the can opener with the actual food. Now he's been classically conditioned. It's the only time. Does that make sense? Now let's get to the labeling. The food. Well, what did you got? Let's just raise our hand. The conditioned stimulus. Who said it was A, the cat food? Okay. Who said B, the sound of electric can opener? Okay. C, who said the cat coming to the kitchen? And D, who said Tamara? Tamara. So let's try to see this out. What's the can of cat food? And how is he responding to this cat food? And what did he replace with the cat food? And how's he responding to the cat food opener? That's why I said label it, then come back and say, now what did they just ask me? Because if you try to do it by just going through like, what's the condition? You're going to mess up every time. Yes. 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 Very good to say there. It's literally the unconditioned stimulus is the original. Conditioned stimulus is the association to the original. Exactly. Exactly. For this right here, it's gonna be B. But I don't want. That's a good. Donna's making a good point. I can't let you get 15 right by accident because this test has 25 of these on it. No, your next exam is mostly from this chapter. Yeah, I just took a little bit from the other chapters. Yeah, I was. I was trying to be so nice. So let's try number two. And then I'm gonna write you a really fluffy one on the board. I'm just gonna make it up off the top of my head. All right. What's the response? Good question. Let's start with let's use Derek's thing original. What's the original response? What's the original cause of the fear? Whatever replaced the car accident with. Now how do I respond to Mozart? Yes? No. I heard no. You can say fear, you can say pain, you can say scared, you can say hurt. I don't care. You can say anxiety. They all the same in that point. If you get in a car accident, what does it cause you? It's original. It's literally Car accidents cause you pain. Car accidents cause you fear. Car accidents cause it's literally it's an automatic. A child. If we put a child in a car accident, how are they gonna respond? And I usually tell people go back to your childlike state. How would you respond to the original thing? No. Sometimes it's in there. The next one I give you, I'll write it out, and it'll be in the car accident causes. Yeah, it's like literally when you first go here, don't get all, don't analyze it. A car accident causes what? Pain, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so let's back it up. What's the original? Let's go back. What's the original response? So this is my what? What caused the original response? So the car accident is my what? What did I replace the car accident with? And Mozart is now what? Stimulus is the, I hate to use these words because they're not technically going to work, but it'll work for you. Stimulus is the cause, response is the response. Cause, response. I don't want to say effect, but we can use effect. Cause, stimulus, effect, response. If that don't work for you, close your ears and act like you didn't hear that. It has nothing to do with that. It's just literally, Mozart's going to create panic. Why? Because he thinks of the car accident. Now, if we literally say, okay, thanks. Yes, classically conditioned. Psychology class is going to classically condition you. Okay? First time, yes, yes. Classically conditioned. That love song that you listen to, and we're going to use that for example. Every time that song come on, you like, or you like, ugh. Classically conditioned. You don't have to see the person. You just hear the song on the radio and you like, classically conditioned. Or somebody walk by you with that smell and you like, ooh, ooh, you had a flashback of the smell. You go through your moment, classically conditioned. Or the smell make you be like, or it's even like this. Somebody tells you that their name, the person that broke you up in regards to the other person, the person cheated, the other person, you know their name, and they call a name, and you be like, ugh. You ain't even met the girl or the guy. It's just the name now brings you. If somebody's like, oh, my name is so and so, you be like, oh. Okay, I got an issue with the name Kelly. Hope none of y'all name middle name Kelly or nothing like that, but the name Kelly just brings about some things that's just not really feeling well for me. So when people say, oh, my name is Kelly, I'll be like, and the other name, which is everybody is always one in the class, Victoria. Don't like the name Victoria either. I mean, not that I don't like it. It's just associated with something. So when people, when I be calling roll and I had to get to Victoria, I'd be like, Victoria, let's move really quickly before I get a little emotional over here and be like, Victoria, where you at? Okay? You better hope I'm not feeling bad when I do these grades. Why? Because it's a classically condition. The name brings up emotion. It has nothing. I'm working over my Victoria scenario. But, because it seems like everybody in the class has always got three of them. I think God playing with me. Yeah, God put three in the class every semester. So, that's what it does. Does that make sense? So, that name that brings about that emotion is classically conditioned. The smell, classically conditioned. The drug, classically conditioned. If you get drunk off of tequila once, And then next time somebody be like, "You want some tequila?" You just start laughing like, "Nah, I'm good." Classically conditioned. You eat something that made you throw up the one time, you never eaten it again. Classically conditioned. Make sense? She got classically conditioned. She got classically conditioned. Yeah, she get classically conditioned. When the garage door opens, my dog starts to do these circle flips inside the house. It might not even be me, but he just starts these circle flips. And then when I open the door, he's like, and I'm like, "You're so happy to see me." It could be the worst day of my life, but he's been classic conditioned. I'm walking through the door when the garage door opens. The same thing. Make sense? That was easy, right? It's just labeling is a little tricky. So we're gonna give you a really fluffy one. Oh yeah. What is it? Who said A? B? C? D? A is the unconditioned stimulus. And all you had to do is go back and look. UCS. Say it again. Yeah, perfect. That's a perfect one. Marriage and divorce. Some people will never get married because they think the minute you say I do, the relationship changes. Some people never get a title. We just together. Is that your boyfriend or girlfriend? Nope. We together. Why don't you want to give them a title? When you get titles, it changes things. Okay? It is not a super. It's not. It don't change nothing. It just gives people some power, and when people get power, they use it. When they was just your friend, they couldn't check your phone. When they got the title, they check your phone. That's all it did. Classical. A lot of people don't like marriage. Yes. Your mate is classically conditioned to you. Everybody in this room, your mate is classically conditioned to you, and you are classically conditioned to your mate. Your mate can look at you a certain way, and you will respond according to because you have learned that this look represents it's something you do that shows her. Okay, it's just something you learn. Your parents have classically conditioned you. Okay, even if it was down to the time that you ate dinner, you got classically conditioned that when the clock said you ate dinner 6 o'clock for 20 years. Now when the clock says 6, your stomach starts to growl. You've been classically conditioned. You now represent 6 o'clock with food. Now you got to switch to the other learning, which you're gonna learn later, which is called operant conditioning, reward and punishment. But let me give you one of these really fluffy. Uh, okay. Yeah. right, good. James is dating Kate. They've been dating for 4 years. Kate makes James feel really good and makes him laugh. It's funny, Kate wears cotton candy perfume. James really likes how Kate smells. They actually just broke up, but James' friends took him to the fair to deal with the breakup. When James walked by the cotton candy machine, he started to cry. Yeah, thank you, Derek. I didn't say that Kate broke up. James might have broke up. Classically conditioned women versus men's responses. Hence, you can tell what happened in some people's relationships by their response. All right, so let's start. What's the response? The original response. We all agree? Who caused this? Kate. Kate, feel good. Laugh. We all agree? Basic. Who was lost? No. I'm talking about y'all. So you said, what was it that got you lost? Because you're not alone. They just don't want to raise their hand. Okay. But was that the original response? Right. That's a good question. Here, what she asked, the response was cry, but always ask yourself, what was the original response? Where did we all start this at? We started off being happy. Everybody agree? Okay. And what makes him happy? Specifically was Kate. That's, oh, no, wait. Now, what's the next question? What did I replace? What did I replace Kate with? What did I replace Kate with? It's the smell. It's technical because the cotton candy machine brings a smell, or it might be the sight of cotton candy. We don't know what James is feeling. We just know James saw some cotton candy. Yeah, whether it was the smell, the sight of cotton candy, the pink color, whatever, it was the machine that he started. It could be the little fluffy pink cotton balls. Okay, we just got cotton candy. Now, how does he respond to the cotton candy machine? Do we all agree on these things? Yes, right? So now let's ask ourselves, what was the original response? So this is my what? What did I respond to? There you go. What did I replace Kate with? And now how am I responding to the machine? It's that simple. But it's a whole lot of fluff. Right. Those are the only four things that were important in that whole fluffy scenario. You're not alone. Got it? That part is everybody that's online missed that whole example. Uh-huh. But they can't see that board. Because I read it the first time, they will be able to pick it up. They might just have to stop the recording. I'm giving them direction. This research experimenting. All right, you got it. Okay, I was very good. Practice is about what did we start off with? To practice, you then do what? Learn. Remember that was an exam. That was in the definition. You had to practice. So it's really important that you go home and practice. You can Google classic conditioning examples, and it will give you so much to practice with, and it'll give you the answers as you do them. You want to practice. Okay? There's quite a few resources inside of here also that I'm giving you for classical conditioning. Practice it, practice it, practice it. If you do not understand it on Thursday, you can come back because we'll have enough time to go back over it because you practiced it and you have questions about it. Okay? Good? If it does not have a name, it does not have understanding. When you were born, your mother had to give you a name. Why? Because she would have been calling you and you wouldn't have responded because you wouldn't have knew you was you. Which, Ayla's bringing up a point. There are children who respond to the word stupid. They've been classically conditioned. They've heard it. You heard people say you're useless, you're hopeless so many times that they now think that it's a classically conditioned response. So not perfect. That's a perfect example. Now that they think that's who they are because they've been conditioned to think that's what they're worth. That's a good example. Children in kindergarten. I sub taught for kindergartners, and I kept asking this, calling her a roll to take attendance, and I kept calling this one girl in the attendance book. She never responded, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this little girl doesn't know her name. And I kept calling it, and everybody would just look around, and I'm like, okay, there's 30 people in the room. There's 30 people on my list. That means everybody is here, or there's an extra here. So I went around like, what's your name? What's your name? What's your name? And I get to her, and she said, baby girl. And I said, baby girl? And she said, yes. And that's what I thought, like, well, nowadays, baby girl could be really her name. And I said, baby girl, what's your last name? And she tells me her last name. And I'm like, and I said, what does your mommy call you? She said, baby girl. I said, what does your daddy call you? Baby girl. I said, um, when you first came to school and they taught you how to write your name on a piece of paper, what did they tell you? She said, they taught me not to how to write a name that's not my name. I said, well, what's this piece of paper say? She says, Mary. I said, well, let me see the little green piece of paper. She pulls out the green piece of paper, and it's got Mary, 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 because she was practicing her name. And I said, okay, thank you, baby girl. She's like, you're welcome. And I just checked Mary out because Mary doesn't even know her name is Mary because she's been classically conditioned to answer to baby girl. You just learn these things. I've been classically conditioned. I know if my dad is upset with me by the name he calls me. I've been classically conditioned. If he calls me Cherie, we got a problem. I'm about to cry. I have to prepare. I'm classically conditioned. Cry to prepare for what's about to happen after I get down in front of him with the name Cherie. My daddy got all kind of names. He will be one to call me baby girl, princess. And in my house, I am the princess, and my brothers respond accordingly. So if something occurs that I don't like and my brothers don't respond, I then call my dad. I'm almost 40. And if they don't do what I say, I will call my dad and be like, Daddy. And he'd be like, what's wrong? What's wrong, baby girl? Tony said he is not coming over to move nothing. And he'd be like, what? Hold on a minute. And then I go. So then my brothers get a call. And then he called me like, for real, Ree? For real? And I'd be like, what you talking about? And he'd be like, I'll be over there in a minute. So all you had to do is we could have avoided all of this. Okay, I had to go to higher powers and you messed it up. But we've been classically conditioned that and my brothers call me Ree, if Ree say do it, You should do it before Ree call daddy. So all I do is be like, you said no? And they be like, we on my way, I'm on my way. Oh, okay. Classically conditioned. All right. Princess of the world. What? That's the privilege of being the only girl and the oldest. I had to get my place in the hierarchy of the sibling chain. All right, so you guys got it, right? I know so. And you're gonna practice it to make sure you got it, right? Now there's other elements to this class, and we're gonna go through them. So we're going through. I'm just going through slides because we've all covered all of this. It's just definitions for you. Okay. Now, first thing we want to talk about in classical conditioning, you actually have what's called classical emotional responses. We all go to a funeral. What do you think's supposed to be my response? Cry. What happened if I start to laugh? People think something's wrong because you've been classically conditioned to think certain behaviors happen at a certain time. In that we would do it, but it goes a little further. Like if we said, and I'll show you. How many guys do we have? Five. Five guys. Perfect. Okay. Let's start with the guys. Nope. Let's start with the little girls. All of you were girls at one point in time. Who all knows how to ride a bike? All right. So all of the girls in the classroom have learned how to ride a bike. Now, 5 years old. About the time you started learning, 4 or 5. 4, 5, 6? Okay. What happened when you first failed? You cried. What happened? What's the response you got? Dust you off. Get back on it. What else response did you get? As a little girl, what'd you get? Hugs, kisses? Your mama probably ran over like, oh, my baby. She was attentive to you. Wasn't she? Because you're a girl and you failed. Now let's go to the boy side. You guys all the guys know how to ride the bike? When you fail, what happened? When y'all start crying, what they say to you? You cried? You cried? Okay. So what do we just condition the boys to do? Suck it up. What do we teach the girls to do? That's okay. Cry all you want. Mommy's here. So now she's 15. She's 35. What is he gonna do? I sure will. Because daddy responds to my tears. Now let my brothers call my daddy like, daddy. My daddy be like, you for real? I know you got to be kidding. Why? Because my brother's been taught, suck it up. Man up. Do what you got to do. I've been taught, if I cry with my daddy, I can get some results. With my mama, not going to work too good. Because we'd cry together. She'd be like, that's messed up, ain't it? All right, call me back. My daddy gonna be like, he wants to fix it because I'm his little girl and he has to fix it. Condition. All of you been to Toys R Us before. Let's watch how we even further condition our little children. Girl department. What's in the department? Babies, dresses, makeup, high heels. What else? Groceries, cooking utensils, cleaning supplies. Princess stuff. So what did we just teach her? You better know how to have a baby, cook, be pretty, wear some heels, clean up, and cook, and you're good. And you should be wearing pink. Let's go over to the boy department. What's over there? Truck. Truck. RVs. Tools. Wrestlemen. Guns. So what did we just teach this little boy? Be tough, fix the car, repair everything, and have some guns available if need be. We get our new society. And you better wear what color? Okay. What are we teaching our kids? We've just conditioned our kids that this is what, we even watch the little girls, and we now have shopping carts in the grocery store. Kroger gives a little girl a shopping cart. What is she going to do? She's to ride the shopping cart. And what does mommy say when a little boy grabs it? Don't do that. That's a girl. Oh, why is that a little boy's car? Why is that a little boy? Why can't the little girl drive the car? See? Condition. We didn't get conditioned when people say, what are you going into? Nursing. Oh. Why? We've been conditioned to say only certain jobs are for some people. If my brother, I said, oh, my brother a hairdresser, y'all gonna be like, oh, hey, because you've been conditioned to think he's supposed to do it. We've been classically conditioned in regards to emotional responses our entire life. If you fall outside, we all go and run outside and you fall. We all gonna stand there and wait, and we're gonna look for two responses: either tears or you laugh. If you laugh, we're going to assume we can laugh too and you're okay because we've been emotionally conditioned that laughing means you're good. If you cry, we might be concerned or at least act as if we're concerned before we turn our head and laugh because we are responding to the emotional. I know y'all, hey, we all know. And some people do it. Does that make sense? So you've been conditioned emotionally. You just do this. Some of you, when we go back to Derek saying trust, trust has been conditioned to you as a response. Somebody says, I love you, you immediately go through the checklist. Whatever, 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 whatever. It has no feeling for you. You hear the words I love you, it turns you off. Because you've heard it so many times, you've been conditioned that it really means here comes the hurt. Okay? It's literally what we consider conditioned emotional response. Phobias is actually a conditioned response. You were 3 years old outside playing. If you never played at 3 years old, you missed the opportunity. It was the best opportunity ever in the world. It is the best playtime ever. While you're out there at 3, what do you play with? Dirt, rocks, bugs. You play with them lovely bugs. You probably named them. They was your family and friends. You fed them. You tried to give him to your mother as a gift because you thought it was so beautiful because how he rolled over and when you hit him, he rolled down the sidewalk and you thought my mommy would love this. And you grabbed it up and you were excited and you came and said, Mommy, I got you something. And she said, what'd you give me? And you open your hand and what did she say? Ah, give me that. All right. No, wait, no, wait, oh my God, the bugs. You're 3 years old. Now you're 5. What are you outside looking at the bugs saying now? Where you get that from? She created a phobia. You were fine with the bugs. Some of you won't fly. You have never flown in your life. But because somebody told you, they didn't, people didn't blew up buildings, cars, races, races. I ain't seen none of y'all not going to the race. Movies. How many times you stop going to movies? College. Y'all sitting up in here. Because you've been classically conditioned. If all of a sudden I was like, okay, please remain in the building and do not leave. Now let's finish. What will y'all be thinking? Y'all will all be like sliding a text message like, check the news for me. Tell me what's going on. Why? Because you've been classically conditioned to think, oh my God, something is about to go down. Okay? You just start running. You've been classically conditioned. They might be, I'm going to tell you, this is a true story. Just close a couple things, hoping no police is listening. Me and my mother went to New York, and we was underground shopping. Is that what we call it? It's when you buy the stuff in the little, you go behind the wall. Like literally you go to the wall, and they open the wall, and it's got all these designer persons inside the wall. And then they close the wall. Well, this time, we went behind the wall, down the stairs into underneath the floor. They like bolted the whatever they did. We went down. It was a bunch of garbage. Then it was like 5 doors. And we go into the door and we just like shopping and laughing and having a good time. Then all of a sudden, they were they were of Asian descent. So they start talking. Me and my mother don't know what they're talking about because neither one of us speak any Asian languages. But all of a sudden, they locking stuff down and running. So me and my mama just run with them. So we run. We all run into a closet. They lock the door in the closet. I am freaking terrified. I'm holding to my mother for dear life. I'm trying not to let the tears come. And she steady saying, calm down, Sheree, calm down. Calm down, Sheree, calm down. And I feel her shaking because I'm holding on to her so tight, so I know she's shaking. They up here laughing and saying all the different stuff. And I'm telling my mother, like, they ain't never played hide and go seek. You supposed to shut up when you hide. And I'm like, they going to find us. They going to find us. I don't know who looking for us. Don't even know if anybody was looking for us. But we all in the closet. So finally they unlocked the door and they like, clear out, clear out. So I told my mother, we didn't even know if we was running into a truck that was gonna take us off and we was gonna become prostitutes. Part of the sex slave trade. But all we knew is they ran, we running. Nope. My mother the next day like, you wanna go back down there? You crazy? What? Heck shit. I wasn't gonna leave it on my bag. But I wasn't going back down there because now I was afraid. I had created a phobia that when we go downstairs and they start chaining stuff, my phobia is closed. You get me in a place and you be like, I'm not staying there with you. I'm just not gonna do it. She might. She sounds OCD. Yeah. It sounds a little obsessive compulsive because find out if you did it on a three, what would happen? If it would annoy you, she's OCD. Yeah, she's OCD. Yours would be kind of like, this makes sense. You, for some reason, processed that it made sense. Because if I put it on 14, could you still talk to me? Then you turn in, you're connected to an OCD too. OCDs can be picked up and learned. Your mother can create OCD tendencies. We all got some OCD tendencies. Once we get to chapter 13, yeah, if you can kind of like you, you Derek break it now because it can get you start bringing more into the 5 count thing. You'll start counting a lot of things. Keep it. Yeah. Stop it now if you can, because it can get overwhelming. Yeah. OCD. OCD. Divisible numbers. Little Albert. I'll tell you about Little Albert. Little Albert was an experiment that was done. Uh, what he did, remember back in the day, there was no PETA, there was no defect, so experiments were done on kids. And Little Albert was an experiment that was done on a child. And what happened was they would bring the little white rat out, and then they would bang noises all behind his head. Bring the white rat out, bang stuff behind his head. Bring the white rat out, bang stuff. So eventually, as soon as he started the white rat, he would start to scream without hearing the banging. He was actually conditioned to the fear, which kind of shows you the whole idea of being conditioned of phobia. They was part of the experiment. Yeah, they was okay. They were okay with it. You do need to know we do desensitize phobias, which means we make you face your phobia. You can desensitize phobias. Now, when we talk about, there are certain things that we do not feel you need to be desensitized against, like snakes. Do not come to a therapist and say, I want to get over my snake fear. The therapist probably would be like, oh, okay. You're going to be spending a whole lot of time with them because they're never going to probably bring a snake there to desensitize you. And you have to actually face the things to be afraid. That's your, that's your desensitization. Vicarious classical conditioning. A lot of you do this too. You've actually been classically conditioned through somebody else's experience. Vicarious classical conditioning. You've been classically conditioned through somebody else's experience. Watch how this works. Southside Atlanta. How many of you ever gone there? Exactly. Look, raise your hand high. Southside Atlanta. Right. All right. So we all gonna take a trip to Southside Atlanta, and I want us all to go to the Piggly Wiggly. It's a Piggly Wiggly over here, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's on. What? It's some over there. I seen it because when I seen it, I thought, wow, Piggly Wiggly. So we all gonna go to the grocery store at Piggly Wiggly on South Side of Atlanta. What's gonna happen when we get there? All of us are going. You all have to go. Why? Is it? Okay, I could take you to Forsyth County, and some of y'all never been there. You gonna lock your pocketbook up there? It's an unfamiliar area too. So why did you choose? You literally are going through vicarious classical conditioning. Detroit is another place. I always tell people when people be like Detroit, they be like, oh my. All of a sudden they don't want to go because they're literally living through what somebody else has told them the experience is. Does that make sense? We will cut you, but only if we need to. What'd you say, Derek? Say, what? Vicarious? Yeah, there you go. Yes, perfect example. Psychology class. First day, I asked you guys, what'd you hear? Oh Lord, oh God, worse. Oh my goodness. Some of y'all was terrified before I even said hello. Y'all like, oh God, here she comes. Oh God, I know. What is she about to do? Vicariously classical condition. You was terrified before you even opened up the first quiz. Now y'all gonna vicariously classically condition the next class in the fall. When they ask you how was the class, y'all gonna give y'all response. They gonna come the first day, vicariously classically conditioned to the word psychology. Oh, let's hope you guys say, oh, it's like so bad. Like so bad. I like that. She does pizza parties and like candy gifts and like gift card giveaways. Without the keys. All right, let's keep it moving. All right, so you guys learn. Now, inside of classical edition, we have what are called some principles, okay? Basic principles, and you're going to learn four, something like that. First one, acquisition. I'm going to read the definition, and then I'm going to ask you if it makes sense, okay? Formation of a new CR, which is a condition response tendency. This means that when an organism learns something new, it has been acquired. So what does it mean? So let's break it up a little bit. Remember when you were in love, and we go back to Derek's song? He heard the song and he was all excited, and then they had a horrible breakup. Now when he hears the song, he does what? Hope he don't cry. We just using it as an example. He might get, he might think about the breakup. He might get upset. He might get angry. He now has an acquisition. He has developed a new condition response. His original one was that he got happy, but now he has a new condition response, and he gets sad. There was a food you like to eat, but you've eaten it so much that now it makes you sick. You now have acquisition. You now have a new response to the food. Yes, but it's new. So it's the old one no longer works. You now have acquired a new one. Right. Exactly. Yes. Or no, Derek. No, no, no. Him being sad was the first one, but then let's just say he found somebody. Him and Kate got back together, or him and Kate. There you go. So now the smell, and she wears cotton candy too. So now the smell of cotton candy, exactly. It's the new response that he has to the condition stimulus. Yes? No? Um, you go. Whose grandmother? Your grandmother's still alive? Your grandmother's still alive? Okay. You ever had a dog that died? Okay, good. That's a good one. I was hoping. I mean, I'm not saying I hope you had a dog that died, but like that's good. All right. So the dog died. Um, what was the dog's favorite toy? A squirrel? Wow. Is that how he died? Okay. Let's just say. So when you used to, the dog was alive and you saw the dog with the squirrel, you would do what? How did it make you feel? You probably laugh like this dumb dog about to chase the squirrel all around and never catch it. So you laugh like, oh, dumb dog. Every time you saw the squirrel, you like, oh, he's so stupid. Okay, that was your original conditioned response. Now, when the dog passed away and you see a squirrel, oh, like dang, I really miss him. Now you just had acquisition. You've got a new response to the way you respond to the stimulus. Yes, better. Unconditioned. The original conditioned response is just you still the conditioned response. It's just a new one. So you still been conditioned. It's the second one after that. So now I've associated this with something else. It's been replaced. It's still the same four, but now it's been replaced with something else. Mm-mm, mm-mm, anything. Yeah, that's what psychology is about. Doody doot. What'd you say? What now? Don't listen. Let me just explain something in this class. If you got it on the first time, ignore everybody else after that part. Did you get it on the first time? Okay, everything the people said, just be like, they don't know what they're talking about. I'm not paying them no attention. Because everybody's going to use whatever they got to do to get it. Don't listen to everybody. Okay, if you got it at that point, just tune everybody else out. You back with me now? Okay, good. All right, extinction. This is probably the easiest. All right. This literally says this is a gradual weakening and eventually disappearance of the conditioned response tendency. It means now you no longer respond to the stimulus. It goes away. You no longer respond to it. Let's go back to the song and the girl and the relationship. The song plays. You broke up about 10 years ago. You can hear the song and don't even think about him. Extinction. Eventually, Victoria won't even bother me no more. Just be like, somebody say the name, I'll be like, okay, wouldn't even bother me. Extinction. Does that make sense? Extinction is easy, right? It might take long. It might take 20 years, but extinction will eventually occur. The smell of that person, you smell it, it no longer brings up a response. It doesn't. It no longer brings a happy feeling. No longer makes you laugh. It's gone away. Make sense? It is what it is. It's just like you hear the name, and you don't even think about it. Is that the easy one? Got it? Okay. It's just it. It's just extinct. It no longer brings a response. But every once in a while, you're gonna have spontaneous recovery. It's gonna bring that pop back up. That somebody's gonna say Victoria. You're gonna be like, Woo, whew. Extinction has to occur for spontaneous recovery to happen. Okay, so let's go back to the song. The song no longer brings a response, but every once in a while when I'm in the car and I hear the song, I might laugh like, oh my God, I remember when. That's spontaneous recovery. It doesn't last, it's just a thought. Block them out. And then eventually it pop back in, it brings a response, and you laugh, and it goes away again. Easy? Good. Yeah. We can keep it this. I mean, we're gonna try to stay straight forward. Yeah, just right there. Oh. All right. Stimulus generalization. A response to a specific stimulus becomes associated to other stimuli and now occur to those other stimuli the same. So what happens in this point? If I said McDonald's makes me sick, I've got a specific stimulus, right? And what's the stimulus? McDonald's. But if I do stimulus generalization, I'm going to then say fast food makes me sick. So now when people say fast food, I'm going to get a response because I've generalized the statement of McDonald's to all fast food because it's similar. Guilty by association. Stereotyping. Make sense? Stimulus generalization. Got it? Mastered it? Example would be this. Up north, the whole Confederate flag. to the North is not something we embrace. The Confederate flag. We hear Confederate flag and we think, oh my. Generalization, if you do the flag, we got problems. That was just what I was taught. When I got down here, I had to realize stimulus generalization wasn't really what I thought, that people actually look at it as different things. So, but growing up, stimulus generalization really meant Confederate flag, racist. And when I first got here, the first person I met had a flag on his shirt. And he said, can I come into your office and talk to you for a minute? No. We could talk in the hallway. And he was just, he would be like, why we can't talk in your office? And finally I said, your shirt throws me. And he was like, why? And I explained it, and he's like, no, no. And he explained it, I'm like, oh. Took me a minute, like, yeah. Because I had to get extinction to occur that when I saw the flag, it didn't bring up the, oh my goodness, feeling. Jeff will laugh and tell you, I refuse to walk back in the back here in the woods with the trees, because it's Georgia and it's trees. I don't do Georgia and trees. So, my people don't do Georgia and trees. So, when I laugh with Jeff be like, let's take a walk. I'll be like, where we going? And he'd be like, back to the trees. Not gonna happen. So he'll do jokes like, come on, tree. And he'd be like, why don't you park back? I'm not parking by the trees. Because the trees bring about some feelings inside of me when I see the trees. I just get some feelings. It ain't pollen. If it was a tree in front of the building, we good. You put the tree back in the building, we got problems. Depend on Mississippi? No. Probably just as bad as a Georgia tree. Pretty much. Stimulus generalization. Georgia trees in the back of a building, no go. New York tree, it's the history. I have generalized the back, dark Georgia tree in the woods. No, not gonna happen for me. Yes. No, no, I'm not going outside. If y'all was like, let's go camping. No. Is the trees? No. Not going with y'all. I don't care what color you are. I ain't going with you. Yeah. And everybody in the Gen Ed pod know, and they'd do little jokes like, Sheree, we taking a run. I'd be like, oh, let's go. Where y'all going? They'd be like, back. No. I don't care if you put a road. No. If I stop on 985 at 10 o'clock at night, I ain't getting out. I'm going to get out. I don't care if I want 10 and I want more than one police. I want the city, the county, the state, and the highway patrol. All y'all to come. And I want diversity, please. There's trees. In Michigan, yes. It's a Georgia tree. Y'all don't get it. Some of y'all get it, some of y'all don't. One day, I'll take you on a history run, but it ain't today. Stimulus discrimination. Discrimination is a little bit different. This is when I discriminate. I say McDonald's makes me sick, but then I just say it's the McDonald's on 985 that makes me sick. I now discriminate against one type, like Georgia trees. Any tree over 15 feet that can hold me. If it's some branches and you be like, Cherie, if it's like a weak tree, we good. But if it can hold, no. Yes, no good tree. Yes. And before I came, my grandmother, yes, yes, she did. Yes, she did. I'm just letting y'all know. And you grew up in Forsyth, that's even worse. All right? Everybody got discrimination? Some of y'all don't. Some of y'all, like in your 20s, you're not going to get it. That's all right. I ain't mad at you. Higher order conditioning. Now, this is the one that's a little tricky, but I need you to get with me. Join with me. All right. Higher order conditioning. A conditioning stimulus can be used to produce a response from another neutral stimulus. There are a couple of differences in regards to the levels. Makes no sense, does it? Let me explain how this works. I now have conditioned myself. Let's just use a dog for instance. These are his treats. Everybody understand? I put his treats inside of a container. Everybody get it? So now when I pick up the container, the dog knows that what's coming. Treats. He's been conditioned, right? I then put the container inside of a closet. So now he associates the closet with the container with the treats. So now he has a higher order. He has linked order to this response. Does that make sense? Okay, so now if you put, let's just say you put the gummies inside of a cookie jar and you put the cookie jar inside the cabinet now becomes her higher order because she knows the cabinet has the cookie jar in it. She knows the cookie jar has the gummy snacks. Yes. She represents the leash with the truck with getting to go. Perfect example. Higher order, I've associated the conditioned response with something that now is linked to that. Yes? Mm-hmm. Okay. She has now done higher order. Your daughter is now the link to the trash can to the food. Mastered it? The principles? Because you know there's going to be scenarios and you got to figure out the principles. Got it? You're good, right? Operant conditioning is a whole lot easier, but you got classical conditioning down pat. Agree? Yeah, yeah. No, I need confidence. Thank you. One more time. Do you got classical conditioning? Do you understand it? Who's the founder? What did he use? See, if nothing else, you got the founder and some dogs. We got progress. And what is it all called? We know the name, we know who did it, and we got some dogs. We stepped closer. We got this. Now say that. We got this. Okay. What time is it? Good.